So Rufus, weird thing. I'm sitting around yesterday in my office and
did you turn it on this time?
Yes, it's on this time. We just did a session that we were sitting around bullshitting and I forgot to hit the record button. Bad on me.
I don't think our viewers will really mind. Yeah, all three of them.
All four of them? I don't think so. It's more like archives than YouTubing.
Right. I know Stanley in Germany likes checking in on us sometimes.
Well, hey Stanley, how are you? Hope you're doing well.
We should make him our international correspondent.
Sure, yeah.
I piss a lot of people off on Facebook only because he can offer, even though he's an American, he can offer
viewpoint
and just nobody nobody wants to hear what a laughing stock.
Anyway, so I'm sitting around my office yesterday. This turkey comes with his he's a male turkey with 4 or 5 female birds, and they're clucking around the forest. What?
Actual turkey.
Wild turkey, from the wild. He comes strutting up my driveway, right? He throws out his back feathers, which are like a peacock. They're
I've never seen that.
With a big giant talon and blue and red things dripping up front on his head and like a regal looking thing, giant. I don't know why they expand the peacock feathers or their equivalent, but whether it's to tell the ladies, let's get out of here or what.
Flexing. Maybe
that's it. Maybe it's a mating ritual thing. Maybe that's why he's got a hat on. Yeah. But so anyway, it was such an unusual sighting. I was I had to stop and look at it. And I was asking myself, is this some kind of omen or something? Do you believe in omens? Have you ever experienced an omen in your life?
We're getting all deep in.
Yeah, it was just a curious thing.
Omens. It's a good question. I don't know how many of them happen and just go unnoticed. It's where you don't really realize it until you're 5 or 10 years out, and then you're oh yeah.
Yeah. Put the pieces together, you mean?
Not omens. I've had a lot of weird shit happen, but
I'm looking at the definition of omen right now, and it says an event regarded as a portent of good or evil. Maybe we should look up portent now.
Mr. Culture over here, you don't know what portent means?
You tell me. I'll tell you if you're right.
Shit.
A sign or warning that something, especially...
Let me take a shot at it.
All right.
Like a harbinger, whatever the word is. It's I
might have to change the word on you. Yeah, portent. It's Portent.
Without money.
Without money?
It's a tent without money. A portent.
Yeah, it's a portent. But we got to get those happening. I'll edit some in. But a sign or warning that something, especially something momentous or calamitous, is likely to happen. What do you think? When's your last omen?
Huh?
When was your last omen? Oh, man. I'll tell you.
Froze up. Oh, there he goes. What was my last portent of evil?
Yes. Good or good. It goes either way.
Actually, hang on a minute. I just got a text. It might be one now. Might be
oh, my God. Yes. If you one of mine, it'll give you a chance to then give you one.
I don't know if this is going to tie into what we usually talk about outside of this thing about death and everything. I did get the morning my mother died. I woke up and I don't know what it was. It was because she passed away about 11:30, and it was just the kind of thing where for no reason, I was just doing what I do.
Yeah.
And it was from roughly 20 after 11 to noon. I just felt all of a sudden just drained and just, I don't know if it was just the stress catching up on me or if it was just some kind of.
But you didn't know at that point.
Well, I didn't know at that time. And then it's later on. Yeah, then about 1:30, 2 o'clock that afternoon, my father shows up with my sister. I opened the door and I'm I see the two of them standing there and I'm this ain't good. And then he tells me what happened.
Wow, that's a drag. And now do you think there was anything that occurred that your mom was saying goodbye or whatever? Or
But yeah, I don't know if it was so much like my mother visiting me to say goodbye, or if it was just more like being keyed into each other. And it's, you just have that extra sense or whatever that, you know, something's going on, but you don't know what it is. And you're just feeling depressed.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I used to be very close. I had this aunt that I loved. She was great. So friendly, just one of those good spirits, like radiating good energy. You knew there was positive energy in there. And at the very end, I went to see her when she was like literally on her deathbed. She was like skin and bones lying there. And I said, hi, Aunt Flo, and blah, blah, blah. And so I got the feeling she appreciated it. I don't know. It was almost like a different sense. And she was always the kind of person who was happy to see it. So anyway, flash forward to, I don't know, 6-8 months later. I'm in my room in, where we grew up in our township at my parents' house. I'm sleeping there on the mattress. And I feel like a hand on my back, like pushing, like a little, just, hey, like this. What the fuck? And I thought maybe it was my mom, my dad. I get up, I look around. There's nothing there, right? I go to lay down again. It's just a blue stereo light in the room or whatever it is. And I go back to all right, I'm just going to go back to bed. And I feel 3 little hand pushes on my in the same spot. And you could feel like a hand. And I was,
kind of like, hey,
5 digits, right? Yeah. And it's that little, it's like, what the hell? So I didn't think anything of it. I wake up the next morning and there's my mom. The first thing I see, it's like scene open, fade from black.
Like you're waking up and your mother's just standing by your bed.
She's just, Aunt Flo died last night. I was like, oh, wow. But I didn't piece it together then. Yeah. Like, it wasn't until later that day, I'm driving to my sister's house, who was like tutoring me in math. And I was like, holy crap, that was her saying goodbye. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my own story.
Yeah, no, I never really had any of that. It's like I've had, I told you the story with my son when he was freaking out going to my father's house.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear that one. That's an omen for sure.
But that one, like, just really blew me away because we used to go, so we were picking my father up because we were going on a vacation. Since we had the minivan, we took our car. Mm-hmm. And he must have been about 2. He was like a munchkin. He was like 2, maybe 3. And we pull into the driveway and he just starts like freaking out. My kid, I could count the number of meltdowns he's had on one hand. He's just, I don't want to go inside. I don't want to go to Grandpa. And I'm like, what? What's the matter? What? You never, you love oil. You've been there before. And he's like saying something about he's afraid of the lady with the blue eyes and the wig that lives in the closet.
Wow.
And my mother was the only one in the family who had blue eyes.
Wow.
And
What's
she died
with the
wig. And but the thing what really freaked me out was, my wife and I were like looking at each other. I felt like the hair on the back of my neck.
Because of the wig thing? Was that what tied it in for you?
That was the thing. The lady with the blue eyes and the wig. And it's
that you knew right away. That's your mom.
It was. He was at that age where I never brought up my mother to him. There was nothing my mother wanted more than for us to have kids. And it was like, when you're 2 and 3, you don't go discussing death with the kid. You don't say, oh, yeah, my mom died. And I never showed him pictures. I don't know if my wife showed him pictures or whatever, but even if, so it's that thing where, even if you saw pictures, you could pick up the blue eyes, but like, where's he going to get the wig from?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, and then it was like, so I go in to get my father and I'm just like, standing in the front hall and I'm like looking around and I'm like closet, what closet with it? Yeah. And it's like, I opened up one of the closets in the hall and it's, my father had some of my mother's stuff in there. Her watercolor set was in there and still one of her coats was hanging up in the closet and whatever. So it's thinking, if there's anything to that energy thing that's maybe that was the closet that she was living. I don't know. It just really freaked me out. And then there was another time shortly after my wife's grandmother died. We're sitting there watching TV. He's already up, tucked in or whatever. And he's about the same age. And we hear, he's battling away on the baby monitor. And it's like, he's having like a conversation.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we hear him. It's, oh, you don't need candy anymore.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, well, oh boy. It's like, because it was the kind of implied sense of finality.
And also that you're having a conversation with.
Right. And my wife's grandmother was a little old lady who always had candy on her.
Wow.
And it's, my wife's, you better go up and check on him. I look at her, I'm like, fuck you, it's here.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. That's hilarious, dude.
And he was talking about our dog Bosco. Bosco had to be put down a little bit before his first birthday. So he really doesn't remember anything about, even now, I don't even think he remembers Molly. But there was one time he was talking about, how he remembers Bosco, and it's sees Bosco, and it's, it's like I see him sometimes. And I'm like, I said, like, Molly. And he's, no, Molly's the black one. This one's like brown and white.
Wow.
And thinking maybe he's seen pictures, because it's like we had pictures of Bosco. So I say to him, is Bosco bigger or smaller than Molly? I'm leaving out the third choice.
Like maybe he heard you say, oh, the brown dog, but and
like
they were identical breeds, right?
What? Yeah, because there were two
identical breeds, no?
Yeah, they were Cocker Spaniels. So I was like, was Bosco bigger or smaller than Molly? The answer was the same size, and I didn't put that in there. I just said bigger or smaller.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was another one that kind of.
They say kids have a lot more they're still relatively connected to, the other side or whatever.
They haven't been
beaten that. Yeah, your senses haven't been beaten down.
Right. I was about to say that.
Like my
sort old geezers like us. It's like,
sometimes I sit there, I meditate a lot. So sometimes I sit there, I'm like, come on, somebody just say something, do something.
He really likes like those paranormal shows that I think we talked about that a couple of times. 99% of that is crap. But it's like every now and then.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all for it if you can verify the facts. Like a lot of these reincarnation cases, they can verify the facts. There's like a guy that did live in this period. His name was this. He had a swimming pool. He blah, blah, blah. Married 3 times. It all ties in. It's freaky. What's the probability there?
Let me see if I can find a picture just to show you. Because there was one time, it was like I was an online Christmas collectors club, and the big, me, it's Mr. I live in the past. The big joke in college was because, at that point in time, I still haven't flown. I'm 58. I've only been in a plane once. Yeah, that was like when we were in California and we had to get back ASAP because my father was dying.
You didn't have to do any Sinatra cover band stuff work and other parts of the country.
So, the big joke was in college it's the way everybody used to explain me, because I was always listening to Sinatra and all that, was they used to say, he must have been like a, some pilot that was shot down in World War II. And that's why, now he's a.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that story I did on AWOL Bugs Out, but there's a kid like that who claims he went down in a plane. He starts screaming like a little man going down, or like his last radio transmission or something, and very strange.
Yeah,
they met him.
Yeah. So one time on one of those things on the Collector Club, somebody posts a picture of some family Christmas thing, and it's some guy standing in the back who looks he's almost like doppelganger from when I was like in my early 20s.
Oh my God.
And I said that I was like, I said, who's
lurking there, like looks just like you?
Huh?
He was just like lurking there, looks just like you, only has a knife or something.
No. And I said, who's the guy in the background? Yeah. Oh, that was my cousin. That was his last Christmas. That was Christmas in 1943. He was a pilot in Europe who never made it back.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. This guy knew his past life's friends' names. So they were able to find like his old shipmates from World War II, you know?
And that's freaky.
That was really cool. Yeah. And he went to a reunion of the ship. He knew the name of the ship. He knew he could identify. He got a model. His parents like humored him, got a model. And that's not where the bombs go, blah, blah. Like,
oh, yeah,
it was fucking crazy.
35 millimeter. We had 40 millimeter guns.
Right.
Yeah.
He was saying stuff like that. And he's 9 years old, not even. Starting around 4 or 5, he would have these dreams of reliving the crash and stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy. So anyway, kids, if you want to see that, go check out my other channel, AWOL Bugs Out. Okay, I'll leave a link below.
Shameless plug. Wow, I'm still looking for that picture. Bear with me.
All right, I'm going to tell you my story, another story that I know, okay? And you keep a look. But there was a time when my wife Shanti and I were trying to have kids. And when you're first starting out, it doesn't go so well often. And so I'm kind of like,
I love when people talk about how hard it was to have kids, and I got robbed out of that. It was like one frisky night in the shower, done. It's like the one time in my life where it's expected and justified. It's like I got the green light to pound the crap out of her, and it's like, nope, Shanti, you're trying to have kids.
Okay, so Shanti and I are trying to have kids, and it's the early stages, and we're getting frustrated. And I'm out on the balcony one day, and I was living in a garden apartments, I guess you would call them, down in Jersey, in southern Jersey. And just outside my balcony was the tennis courts with these giant lights. And I'm saying like, wow, man, God, source, whatever you want to call it. I wonder if am I ever going to have kids, or is this just a fruitless effort? And so all of a sudden, one of the darkened lights of the tennis court starts flickering, just flickering a little bit. And then as I start to feel this tangible energy, it gets brighter and brighter.
And there's Mary Pickford playing tennis with Douglas Fairbanks.
And not exactly. The next thing that happens is a little kid runs out and flicks the light off.
Oh, weird.
Very strange. I definitely took that as an omen. Like, all right, things are going to work out probably. And sure enough, they did. Now I have 2 kids, Leo and Loeb. I can never see being one of these folks like my dad, my mom. They had me as a surprise kid, you know what I mean, later in life. And I couldn't go through all the burping again and up all night. It's really rough, man.
I mean, you hear me talk about that. It's I missed the toddler years, but as far as the being up at 3 a.m.
Yes. I think there's a lot more truth in the movie Eraserhead than we give it credit for. Did you ever see that?
Nope.
There's a guy's in an apartment with this like little alien baby, just constantly crying, constantly. Like he doesn't know what to do. It's an alien, and that's what those first couple of weeks are like.
Yeah, it's like, don't move. And it's like,
right. Yes.
But when the shock wears off, it just turns into exhaustion, because then it turns into 3 a.m. It's like,
I remember one time during that phase with the older one, we decided we're going to go out and have date night, right? So we're in the restaurant having date night. I was so tired. I drive home. I almost blew through a stop sign and hit a cop. I was so exhausted.
My kid loves this stuff. I was like just so exhausted once that we ran out of formula. I had to go over to the store to get formula. The store was open till like midnight or whatever. So it's 11:30 at night when I'm coming home. And then, here we go. Hang on a minute. And I was going home, and then all of a sudden I came to. I was sitting at a stop sign waiting for it to turn green.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's the level of exhaustion you get.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't know how long I was there. Okay. So anyway. The picture, I'm going to, do you want me to send it private, or you just want me to hold the picture like on the phone up?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what Rufus is going to show us.
Yeah, now you know me better than everybody else. Tell me the young guy in the suspenders. Tell me that's not me, like when I was in.
On the right there, back it up a little bit and zoom in on his face. Do one of these scrunchies on his face. Let's see what that looks like. Does he look like... Yeah, I could definitely see the evil Rufus. Yes.
That's not...
The two of them were like two like separate universes.
Like in my early 20s.
I'm telling you, the two of them combined, they look like interdimensional Rufuses.
I think I told this was a couple weeks ago. It was another like freaky thing where I was driving somewhere. I forgot where it was. It's irrelevant. I'm sitting at a stop sign. It's a fairly busy road. And a minivan just like mine, makes the turn. And as it's making the turn, I like, look, there's a dude driving again. What made me when I was in my early 20s. But what was really fucked up, as the guy's turning, he's looking at me, giving me a look of recognition, like he knows me somehow. I'm like,
you know what'd be really freaky? He rolled down the window and said, "Don't take Route 9.
Don't go on blood.
Don't eat the ramen noodles."
That's how he loaded with ramen.
So crazy, dude.
Would have been,
and when you touch, like, you switch. All right, we're writing movies here. We're writing sci-fi movies now. Like Harry's. What are you working on there now, Rufus?
I'm working on popular demand. You wanted me to make you.
My goodness, what the? I don't know.
I still got to plug her head in, but.
Oh, geez. Frightening little, what is it, like an alien chick?
Alien chick. You know damn well what this is. You probably
love it. Very cool.
Like
thank you.
Ghost,
you got some
ghosts from an old mouse cartoon.
Oh, very cool. Character from an old Mickey. What's behind you there on the pile of broken toys? There's a whole nother movie. Rufus's pile of broken toys. They just come alive at night.
Yeah, we went through these on the one that you didn't turn on.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it now.
Little Homer.
Very nice. Homer.
Where he goes on Snoopy's doghouse.
I remember that episode.
This guy, I don't know if you remember. He was like a minor character in Donald Duck. His name was Gyro Gearloose. He was like an inventor guy.
Wow, I don't remember that one, actually. Gyro. I'm looking for something in a Velma.
Bugs Bunny's girlfriend, Lola Bunny.
Oh, my goodness. Very cool, dude. Very cool. And these are all 3D printed by Rufus Studios. Very cool.
This one is like a 1940s pinup that...
Oh, very cool, yeah.
Where's her head goes on and she's giving you that look over the shoulder.
Wow, very cool. Very neat, dude.
Big boy.
These hips.
What? Yeah, it's... You've ever seen this Dracula's daughter?
Ah, very cool. I noticed some of these have one thing in common. They're all quite...
Now, I could print them without worrying about when we got like the World War II pinup chick with the bomb.
Wow, cool.
The common theme, too, is, as we discussed earlier today, actually, is that my regular line is when you get to the Christmas ornaments and the metal figures that go with train sets and everything. Yeah, I'm like 58 and I'm like the baby of the group. So I'm trying to pursue other sectors where you can get some young blood in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It was shocking yesterday, dude. When I went to the opera, I was sitting there and I'm like, I look around and we're talking about 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds. I'm looking at the two guys in the stall next to me. They look like leftovers from a Woody Allen movie. They were just like, I have some spots and shit, but these guys were like, their age spots were so advanced. They look like little maps on their heads. And I'm like, peer group. Next stop is that.
Some old lady in the balcony whipping out one of the things and like, look at it.
One more click and that's going to be me.
I know, that's like one of the reasons it's as much as I enjoy some of the 50s and 40s music. It's, I will not go to the concerts because even though it's
even the 80s stuff at this point, you go there and you see these decrepit, like, wait a minute, weren't you my mom's friend? Like me, you know?
You have no idea how depressing it was. Like, when I found out that the old bag that runs the ice cream place that I take my kid to sometimes, She's younger than me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because she grew up in next town over, begins with an M. I think she went to your high school a couple of years after you got out.
There was a lot of pollution in that high school. It might have aged her prematurely.
And then it's like all these like chicks that I had hopeless crushes on, like in junior high school, whatever. They're turning into grandmothers now.
Yeah.
It's like,
You had a crush. Now they have a crutch.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's one of my friends who lives down in Florida. I've known him since like 7th grade, I think. And he sends me an email and he's, I just sent in my check. I'm getting the tickets for our 40th high school reunion. Maybe I'll see you there. I'm like, don't hold your breath.
I don't think so.
It's like time for Rufus to really come across as the bitter old fart. It's like I told him, anybody worth talking to, I still talk
I'm
to.
still in touch with. I'll be in touch with you. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Right.
It's like, I'm not going to go and spend all this money to hang around with a bunch of people I could barely tolerate 40 years ago when I was hanging around with them for free.
Exactly. It's so mind-boggling to me. You look at things like Facebook. It's the same phenomenon. So first you're all like, wow, whatever happened to? Then you're like, you know what? If I wanted to stay in touch, I remember why I didn't want to stay in touch with you.
I know. It's like, I love when Facebook sends you these suggestions. Maybe stop. Yeah, I know them. I hate them. Just get out. It's like the only good, honestly, and it sounds so gay, is the only thing that good that came out of Facebook was you and me meeting again.
Yes, that's true. And making love all those times.
Oh.
But that doesn't sound too gay. No, I agree. All right. No, the world's getting smaller. Absolutely. And maybe there's some good things that come from that. But this sort of vacuum of social media, it really is, it's made me go Walden Pond or whatever, the opposite direction.
Yes.
You put a doorway up, you got to answer the door. You know what I mean? So don't even have the door.
Yeah, we were talking about that with what do you call it? The episode you didn't record. Talking about social media and everything. And in some instances, it's pretty cool because what sparked that conversation was that guy Mel, who did the color forms and everything. And he sent me like that stuff I showed you. It's
Mel Blanc.
And he's like a Facebook friend and everything. And we were talking about how, I know we touched on it in one of the other broadcasts too, where would you rather grown up then or now? And definitely then.
Yeah.
It's not tinged with nostalgia and, the air was cleaner and the grass was greener. What it boils down to is we grew up without the social media where it's right. Some girl out like at lunch and she says no. It's like, all right, maybe 3 of your friends and a couple of her friends know. Now it's with social media, they flash like an APUP bulletin and 6,000 people know you're an idiot.
1.2 million people saw you slip on the banana peel. Yeah, I agree. And as somebody who saw it firsthand with the kids, you don't know how to react because you didn't have to live your life in a fishbowl. But your kids are, and they have access to God knows what things that I had to like sneak into the city. Yeah, take the train into the city, go get my Playboy magazine from an immigrant news guy, sneak back, get it into the house and under the mattress without mom seeing it.
Oh, yeah. You're devoutly Irish Catholic mother.
That was not like I would have caught a whooping from dad. Yeah, absolutely. It was not no joke.
I told now story.
It's like you can make anything anytime.
Playboy. My first Playboy came from the 7-Eleven right by the railroad tracks off of DPA. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's you go there, you pull up. Yeah, you're sitting in the parking lot, like waiting for the place to clear out a little bit. Yeah, and meanwhile, it's like. The poor son of a bitch is probably like keeping an eye, thinking he's going to get robbed any minute now. You know?
Yeah.
Popular mechanics, blah, blah, and the Madonna Playboy. And, it's like, look, she Madonna naked. And what a freaking letdown that was. Because it's like she had more hair in her armpits than I did at that point.
Yeah. That's so funny. But the whole casual shtick where it's like the old Woody Allen bit where he's going in, World and News Report.
Yeah.
And then the guy, when he's buying,
it's like
looking to check out, the guy's like, price check on Orgasm magazine in front of the whole. Crazy.
It's kind of thing too where it's Yeah, I'm losing my thread here. Even with this divorce thing going on, trust me, I'll probably be single forever now because it's like just that whole dating thing. I don't want to get into anyway. That thing where it's just, if I have my store and somebody comes in and we're just sitting around drinking coffee, that's what. But as far as like the ritualized, we got to go to a 4-star restaurant. You got to sit the first time around. Remember being out with somebody you really didn't want to be out, and you're just sitting there and you see your mouth moving and all you hear is like the test sound. It's just like,
I hear you. Very strange. Anyway, I think I better chuck it in and go see what they're rustling up in the cafeteria.
See what Shanti has going on, the chuck wagon.
Yes, exactly. Something along those lines. Those kids probably ate me out of hand.
I'll be here like.
Good. Yes. In the meantime, work on an extra perverted 3D printing job for me.
I showed you the one with her totally naked and you didn't want it because
I can't put that back there. I do have you
stats
just to show a beautiful piece of Rufus's work. Look at that baby.
That's the Homer Zen. Yeah, you're supposed to put that on your dresser and just like when you meditate.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. Acrylic paints, right?
No, that's actually the oil-based enamel. That's why it lays down so nice and flat. That's why I'm having trouble with playing around the acrylics, and it's an entirely different learning curve. Because what happens is the oil paint takes so long; it takes hours to dry. So it has the brush strokes and everything. It has time to float and level out, which is why you get that nice smooth finish. Where with the water-based stuff, it dries so fast, that I'm having trouble with that, getting a smooth finish because it all comes out lumpy. And then if you try to thin it out with the water, then you'll lose coverage. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like a whitewash. It's not like a real. So I got to play around with that, see what happens.
Let me ask you, Rufus, do you consider yourself more of a craftsman or an artist?
Somewhere in between, actually. I hate being called an artist because it's artistic. I don't mean any kind of non-heterosexuals. They always expect the artistic temperament or whatever. They say the difference between a craftsman and an artist is a craftsman works with his hands and his brain. But a laborer, I forgot who said it, a laborer works with his hands. A craftsman works with his hands and brain, and an artist.
That's a very
so
nice
it's kind of like
that's a good way to wrap this session.
The artist, I care about what I do, but it's not. I'm not like Van Gogh. I'm not gonna chop an ear off of this shit. It's
yeah, exactly. Just throw it on the pile and make another.
Exactly. It's like.
Well, maybe one day we'll go through your paint collection, see what that looks like. But anywho, all right, listen, I got to get out of here and you got to get out of there.
More than you is your wife.
That was a fun episode. Do you want? Yeah, okay.
Have a good day.
Oh, you're going to see me.
Okay, I'm going to make sure you save this one.
Yes, I'm going to hit the save button right now.